Hey Scrappy friends, Helen here. Thanks so much for joining me today. Welcome back to my channel. Today's layout is more pictures from day one of the holiday.
Yay.
We are, we are using Vicky Boosting the Flower Emporium from 49 Market. I didn't want to use any pattern paper, so I kind of got a bit mad with the rub-ons. But you'll see that when we get to the scrapping part of the video. Before we get there, if you're not already a subscriber, please think about giving the page, the channel, a subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and let me know in the comments what you've enjoyed. And if you're not sure what to say, just pop an emoji for the sake of engagement. But out of the way, let's get scrapping.
Yay! Mr. Ding's expert video work there again. Did you see his thumb coming into frame? Okay, so I have 49 Market ink pads from Ranger. This is a selection that a quick chat with Google's Gemini AI has told me that has been listed as coordinating Flower Market, Flower Emporium even, and gives a link to a Vicky Boosting video where Vicky talks about these inks. So yeah, so I pulled these out. That's the layout from Nina Scraps that was the inspiration for this. So no pattern paper. I think she used pattern paper background and then using some of the rub-ons and different bits of mixed media. Gorgeous layout. So that's the inspiration. I've laid down the yellow, I think it's called daffodil. I've not learned all the names of these inks yet, but I've used the daffodil there. I've dripped some water onto it and then pulled the ink back up with, I haven't got any kitchen towel, so I've used the J-cloth, the clean J-cloth from the Caravan's kitchen to pull the ink up again. I'm then going to use, I think it's Just Peachy, or I had intended to use Just Peachy, but I can't get it open. So some of the 49 Market ink pads, they are quite tight when you first open them, and you might need to get like a knife in just to separate them. So I gave up with Just Peachy because I hadn't thought of turning around to the kitchen drawer behind me and getting a knife at that point. So I'm using, I think it's Strawberry Pie, and this is a Hey Little Magpie stencil that I'm just putting that ink through with a blending brush, and then I grab, it looks blue there, but it is like the emerald green one. It's emerald, I think it is actually emerald. Now, I do regret this stencil because I really don't think it goes with the feel of the page when I finish, but a lot of it is covered on like the finished rub-ons that I add to the page, so I'm really not that bothered about it by the time I finish. Okay, we are at a do as I say and not as I do moment in the video. Not quite yet, getting there. I do apologise as well. I thought I cut all the me grabbing my brew out and I haven't. So I do apologise. I was thinking for a bit of texture to mix in with the rub-ons of using these PET stickers from Hey Little Magpie, and by the time I finish I've forgotten, I've not used them. I'm just stapling bits of the release paper to the rub-ons there, just so that when I'm cutting bits off, I'm not losing the backing for the pieces that I'm not using. And just selecting a couple of rub-ons to come across. Now we have the do as I say, not as I do moment. Let your mixed media, your ink, whatever it is on your background. So these will rub on over ink, no problem whatsoever. I didn't let the ink dry fully. I got carried away with the fact that, oh, the dye-based inks are dry dead quick. They're different formula to traditional dye-based inks because, you know, they're for watercolouring and doing some lovely mixed media techniques. So they take a little bit longer than a traditional dye ink to dry. I didn't let it dry long enough. As you can see, I've gone straight into it. I should have turned off the video, sat and finished my brew, and then done this. So those rub-ons are usually like butter. They're so much easier than that. I've made it look harder than they really are because I haven't let the ink dry. So please don't think, if you haven't used these rub-ons before, that it's going to be a big struggle. It's a me problem, not a 49er market problem. Um, you'll see that one came off much easier because it was the earliest bit of inking that I'd done and it was dry. The whole not letting it dry kind of is in my favour here because there is a bit in a minute where I'm like, oh, I've put that down too high, and it lets me lower it, um, which wouldn't have happened if I'd let the background dry properly. Um, so yeah, just be patient. Be patient. Set your background to the side and let it dry before you do rub-ons. And I've harped on about that long enough now. So I'm just layering a few different of the rub-ons up here. Just adding the different ones with the craft stripes with the words or the ink blotches. I then decided I want to put a little bit in the top and bottom corners, top left, bottom right. And I use this one, which is like the Punchinella. Like when you ink up Punchinella and you do kiss stamping with it. I've used that bit, and I do cut them off with straight edges so that I can do them straight against the edge of the paper and not lose any of the rub on. So I've done that at the top and the bottom. You see there, my nifty little mat. My cutting mat spins. It's actually a quilter's cutting mat, so it does spin, and it's really handy for this kind of thing. I've cut around the shape of the circles there just so it's not like a stark edge, which I wish I'd done with the other bits. So the little bit that was left over there, I do line it up over some that's already there to give it a more natural top to that part. And you'll see there where I'm rubbing onto another rub-on or onto, well, basically part of the background that hasn't been inked, how easy those rub-ons came away. So I'm going to use this big flower. I think actually Nina Scraps used this in the same position on her layout, and I think that's what I loved about the layout. You may not think these pictures for a pasty shop, but they were the photos I wanted to scrap. Didn't want to use any pattern paper. I wanted to do some mixed media on the background, and as I said, I saw in my intro, I saw Nina's layout, and I thought, love that. I'm going to do something similar. I'm just going to use the rub-ons. So, yeah, it's just, I just really love these rub-ons, and it's the pictures I wanted to scrap. So the photos are Philp's famous pasties, and that's in the on the quay in Hale, and they do gorgeous pasties. I've got in my hands there as well a cream tea. So when we got to Cornwall on Sunday, we were an hour early for checking into our caravan, so we went straight to Philp's and got a pasty each for lunch. I picked up a cream tea, which we actually didn't have until last night, and then once we've checked in, we've got the pasties then for lunch after we'd unpacked, or late lunch, early tea. So I've cut out a smaller one of those flowers and put it down at the bottom with that green bit, and then these two butterflies, I have cut them apart and got one there at the top and one to the right of the photo. I've then decided I want the pattern coming down lower below the photos, and I really love this strip with the flowers on, and I've decided to put them upside down. So this is the one where having a mixed media not completely dry really went in my favour, because I was able to lift the rub-on back off. Normally if you're putting them straight onto paper, you will not be able to do that. I was really lucky I got away with it. So yeah, I said this rub-on is upside down from where it is on the release sheet, but I just really like how it looks there coming down below the photos. I think I do add some more butterflies. I'm just going to pop a few more butterflies off. Yeah, I've got this little leftover bit from the sheet from all the strips that went across the middle bit, and decide that actually that's going to look good layered at the bottom with the flower and the punchinella. So just adding that there. I just love how you can lay these rub-ons up, and this is what, you know, Vicky designed them to do, and they work just so beautifully. And they just, you know, the look of them on the page, I just adore this layout. I don't often finish a layout and go, that's just perfect. But I just adore it. I love this one. Um, I'm looking at that blue butterfly now, though, and maybe should have put that slightly different position. But, you know, really happy. And a little butterfly down there with that flower. I think we are almost finished. Oh, I know. I decided I need some splatters. So the idea was, I was going to splatter some ink. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to use some of these splatters from the rub-ons. So I am going to cut some of them out and then add them in different spots with the clusters at the top left and the bottom right, and also in the middle a little bit. So I do try and bring some different colours, so, you know, colours that were in one spot and not another, and bring them across so that I've got, you know, the colours, making sure the colours are repeated across the page. So if there's a cluster that hasn't got one colour in, that's in the other spots on the page, I am bringing that across in these splash rub-ons, paint droplet rub-ons, whatever you want to call them. You can add a little bit with the middle, yeah, add that bit there. I like the shape of that, it goes around the flower, so did like that there. And then there's one where there's a black like paint ring. Oh, wait a minute, no, just putting a little bit in the bottom corner there. There we go. So there's a black paint ring that's got black splats in the middle. I decide, you know what, I just want the black splats out in the middle. I like that shape. We're just going to use them. So I've popped them to the side. And then after I rub that on, I'm like, actually, I do want to use the rings, but I've cut the ring in half or in two. I'm going to use a little bit there coming out of poking out the left of the photo. And then I'm going to put a little bit at the bottom right of the photo. So, you know, they look like two complete rings, really. There we go. And then I think I finally actually stick the photo down at this point. Oh, I do apologise. I thought I cut the bit band out. The sun had gone in, so I decided I need to put my light on. Sorry, I forgot to cut that out. I'm now thinking that actually it was all right. I didn't really need to put the light on, but it's on now. Okay, so again, the black one, the black ink pad, I couldn't get open. So I did reach behind me into the knife drawer, and I run the knife around. Sorry, I thought I'd done that in shot so you could see what I was doing. And then we're just going to splatter some of the black from the 49 Market Ranger inks just around the cluster in the bottom and around the middle. And that's all done. Just having a bit of a clean up. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye bye.